Hello, everyone, and welcome to JPod, Jefferson's own podcast. I'm Brad Capener, superintendent of the district, and we are joined today by our co-hosts Becca Mallory and Chris Shaw.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. It is another Friday. Fridays are great days.
And we got a long weekend ahead of us.
Oh, that's right.
We always like those.
Yes.
Especially with the weather coming in. Well, maybe, potentially.
Yeah, don't say that. Yeah. We don't need weather. So today we're going to have another conversation about our Jefferson on the Move campaign. And today we are actually going to be highlighting, I just wanted to go through a lot of the different reasons why people would want to send their kids to Jefferson.
Yeah, that's a great question, especially right now.
Yeah. When I talk about all means all in our mission and vision statement, when we talk about all kids, that Jefferson is here to support all kids. What does that mean, right? And so when we look at that, we really start looking at some of the programs that we have in place that are really geared and centered to supporting all students. So one of the things that strikes or comes to mind is our new alternatives education program pathway. And we have students now who don't necessarily feel comfortable or for some reason don't fit into the regular school setting are also now able to come in and either do a hybrid version where they can do partly online and partly in school, or they can do it all online. We have 29 students now in that program.
Which is great. And I love that we do this program because I think one of the things that COVID has done is shown some students how although a majority of us really were eager to get back to being like socializing and in person, I think that it also showed some students that they thrive more being in an online setting or even just a hybrid setting. But I think my favorite part about the alt education program is that they get their diploma. They graduate with our Jefferson students. So it's not even like you get an online diploma. Like you actually get to walk across the stage with everyone else, all your other peers and classmates. And not a lot of schools are doing that. So that's pretty cool.
And the flexibility of the program. I mean, not only can they do this stuff online, but they could do it online and still take a class at the high school. And so they can kind of mix and match however they want.
So for families that are seeking to go outside of our school district to do an online charter program, why not come back to us? Because your child can walk across the stage here in Jefferson. They can take some classes, do sports. Yeah. They can be here, but they also have an actual center here where kids have to come once a week and they can report to a staff person who then kind of checks on their progress, which I think is really helpful.
Yeah, it kind of holds that accountability, but then it also reminds them that like there are humans on the other side of this that are grading the assignments and looking at your grades and your transcripts. And it's not just a computerized system. So it does kind of add that still social element to it, but not so much that it gives those students the anxiety of being back into a social setting.
Right. Well, and then talking about the social emotional support and growth of our students, right? We found that after COVID, there was a huge need.
Yeah.
And there was so many students that were really struggling emotionally. And so how do we support that? And so the alternative program is one way we do that. Another way that we brought and introduced here was called the Hope Squad.
I love the Hope Squad.
Yeah, the Hope Squad.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So, for those who don't know or haven't heard yet of the Hope Squad, it's a student-run program that's really designed to prevent teen suicide.
Yeah.
And we have groups of students at both the middle and the high school. They'll wear their T-shirts, they have events, but they are known throughout and they're actually nominated by their peers as somebody that someone would go to if they felt they had a concern and they wanted to have a conversation with. So now we have our students who are out in those schools and they have already made referrals to our counselors. They aren't the ones who are counselors. They aren't the ones who are doing the prevention. They're just a contact. And what we find out for kids who are contemplating suicide, that often it's just a matter of needing to talk with somebody and having that person say, it's okay, I'm going to get you some help. And if they have a plan or if they're really thinking about it, having a student that they can go to and say, I'm in trouble, really can make a difference.
And even those that know that they need help but don't know how to reach out to someone, like having a group of their own peers that is reminding them there are people that care about you. There is help out there. There are resources out there, and it's not coming from an adult, so it doesn't have that scary factor of like, I'm going to get in trouble by telling an adult that I don't feel great about living my life right now. So
exactly.
having I love that they do this student led more than adults.
I also love that the students are the ones doing the nominations. So it's people that they already feel comfortable with, that I feel like I can open up to this person.
Exactly.
And so it's not someone that's been assigned or that, people might not feel comfortable with. Students here pick them.
I have to say that Jefferson School District is probably, I'm going to go on a limb here, but I'm going to say it could very well be the only school district in Oregon that has the Hope Squad.
Really?
Yeah. When we sought it out, it's actually started in Utah, and they're in many states, but Oregon, not so much. And so not that Oregon doesn't have other programs that other school districts are using, but in terms of the Hope Squad, it's a really powerful program. And Jefferson is one of the only places with it.
And so far with it, I feel like this should be a requirement for all schools, honestly, especially high school levels, but middle and high, I feel like everywhere should have a program.
Especially today, in today's age.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just another example of how Jefferson is being innovative and on the forefront in Oregon.
Absolutely.
We're on the move.
We are on the move. I love it. And then also the website. Now, you guys actually put the website together in terms of the mental health page. And if you haven't seen it, everybody and folks, go on to our website and find it. Can you tell them where to find it?
I think the fastest route is going to be, because our search bar works amazing. So just put in mental health and it'll populate it. We have it set up to where I call it the cute side and then the basic side, because not everybody loves the cartoony part of it. But it has the equal amount of resources, lots of different we've got like TED Talks out there of people that have gone through these experiences or that work with students that need mental health. There's phone numbers that you can reach out to for various things, places to get assistance. And then there's little games, mental health games that you could play just to kind of meditate or like zen out. There are tons of activities that when you're feeling really high anxiety or stress, sometimes those little things like coloring or just doing a small little zen game can make a big difference. So
you should. Oh, go ahead.
One of the fascinating things is, we have the kind of the cartoon animated side to make it kind of engaging and stuff like that. And the other side was developed because as we engaged with our high school students to ask them, do you like this? What do you want? They came back to us and they're like, no, we want just the facts. None of the cute stuff. Just give it to us bullet pointed. So,
which was really fun to do that because the middle schoolers said they loved having the cartoony side of it. And then when we got to high school, they were like, no, that's too childish. So that's why we decided to keep both kinds, because it reaches more audience.
Well, and then when you did the one for the high school, you also made it so they could access on their phones.
Correct. Yeah, we made it mobile friendly.
So mobile friendly makes all the difference, especially for high school kids, right?
Yep.
That's great. Now, you may not know, and parents, I'm sure you don't know and haven't heard this, but we got nationwide recognition.
We did.
For our website, our mental health website. The folks that have some of their videos on our website go around and they show us as an example of what you can do in school districts.
One of my best projects that I created, and I will tell you that made my heart so happy to hear that it was being presented nationwide. Like it still gives me chills to this day to think that I created something that's being taught everywhere.
I think it's kind of funny that my little emoji is being seen around the country. My little Zen, like he's like this little Zen emoji. And so anyway, that's funny. Moving on to technology, right? We've got the right people in the room here. Our tech folks are actually here with me. That's my co-host. So maybe you guys can speak a little bit about how we're preparing students for the 21st century in terms of technology.
Well, one of the things we might even talk about, though, since we just talked about social emotional, is how we help protect students as well through technology. And so Our web filter that we have in place is top notch, and it can actually scan everything that students do on our network, whether it's social media posts, emails, documents they create. And so we get firsthand notifications when it looks like someone might be in trouble by what they're writing.
Oh, yeah.
We get, and that gets notified to counselors and principals. So when something like that pops up, if it looks like someone is engaging in bullying, someone might be thinking about self-harm, we get notified pretty quick. And that's the way we can be like, look, there might be someone who's in distress and we need to reach out to them. And so those are tools that we implement to help with the social emotional.
Yeah. And I think on one end, like when you hear about that, there's that maybe that internal part of you that's like, oh my gosh, invasion of privacy. But I have seen firsthand times where we have gotten a notification, and I never assume that administrators get it. I always call and check, hey, I just want to verify that you guys got the alert that this student had searched something about self-harm. That sounds pretty alarming. And they have a way of connecting with that student that just says, hey, we just want to make sure everything's going okay. And I mean, we talked about that with the Hope Squad, but sometimes that's what makes the difference. Like if a kid is to the point where they're looking something up, you know that it's on their mind. Mm-hmm. And it might be a harmless act. It might be something where it was like, oh yeah, so-and-so said something and I wanted to look it up. But if we assume that, then that's when we have instances that we don't want, like teen suicides happening in our schools. And so although there is that side that's like, oh, invasion of privacy, at the same time, it's like, yeah, but I would rather be invading privacy and saving lives than allowing our students to just be like looking up how to commit suicide and then and using that information. So,
and our software uses AI, and so we're not individually going through everything. Right. So the software kind of does the scans and then it rates it on its severity. And so it'll give you like, oh, this is probably just a 1. It might be nothing, or it'll rate it like a 5. We think this is critical and you should check into it.
Although times that are interesting are when like the health teacher is having students do an assignment. And so then you have like an entire class of students that are looking up like a drug thing.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah.
They'll do like grapes of wrath, and all of a sudden, like everybody's looking up Great Depression.
Yeah.
And getting notices popping in.
All these kids.
There's a whole bunch of kids worried about the Great Depression they have.
That's right. Well, what about, so we got, before COVID, we made a point to get computers, laptops for every student.
Yeah, a
right?
1-to-1.
Yeah. And then when COVID happened, not that we had planned COVID, right? But we definitely were prepared. Mm-hmm. And we had hotspots for Wi-Fi. And so now today, we've got, and not only do we have computers for students, but talk about the system that we have in place for being able to get on and being able to have large numbers of people on at the same time.
So we have gone in and completely revamped our entire network. And so our network has got new switches, new servers, new Wi-Fi devices that have that are all new within the last year or two. So it has much greater capacity for supporting all these students getting online in our classrooms at the same time.
That's something significant, right? Because it's like, you don't really think about, you just think, oh, let's get everybody a computer. But you don't realize that when you do and you start getting all these classes are on computers, it crashes because there's not enough bandwidth to do it.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that Jefferson has the bandwidth to do it is significant work, and that we're really doing and all the behind the scenes work that needs to be done in order to get our kids successfully on technology, using technology.
Yeah. And right now we're actually set up where it's more than a 1-to-1. We have enough Chromebooks to replace broken ones that aren't working. And so it's not like a wait time when something doesn't work. We have the ability to trade it out right away, which is great.
Cool. So one of the things that we made sure to do while funding was in place and everything else was to make sure that not only were we getting in Chromebooks to replace the old ones, but we were getting in enough so that we weren't going a year or two out of COVID be in a tough spot where all of a sudden, we need more Chromebooks, things like that. So we are in good shape for probably another few years.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, let's move on. We're running out of our time here already.
It goes by fast.
Let's talk about, we are on the forefront of early literacy.
Yeah,
Yes.
Letters. And so the state is, and the governor is really focused on early literacy. But before this or actually it was around the same time, but Jefferson jumped on and got all of its staff at the elementary school signed on to a letters training, which is a 2-year process that provides or gets all of our teachers basically to become experts in literacy. And that is only going to help our students because, it's so crucial that our students come in with those literacy skills. And if they're behind, having the skill set to know how to bring a kid and get them to grade level is really, it doesn't happen out of nowhere. Yeah. It takes training, it takes intention, and we've got that.
Yeah. And we've heard that some states have mandated letters to be a part of a training that teachers must have in order to be a teacher. So it's awesome to hear that our teachers are ahead of all of our other Oregon teachers, and we'll have this done well before it may or may not become a requirement.
Absolutely. Moving on to student-based health and resource center.
Yeah.
Not every school district, in fact, very few in Oregon have a school-based health center. We have a state-of-the-art center that's going to be supporting medical, dental, mental health, and those who are houseless and needing support, or homeless students needing support for jackets and backpacks and school supplies and those kinds of things. Bathroom supplies, toiletries. So we're now able to provide those when, as before, we weren't able to do that.
Yeah.
We've had great success from our larger community in Salem, different organizations helping to donate money to help this take off. In fact, United Way gave us $30,000 check.
Just in August.
But we also have access to their warehouse in Salem where we can go get supplies for free each month. And so we're building that out. We're in conversations with medical providers and mental health providers, dental providers, and it's not up and running yet, but we're close.
But the resource center part is. So
the resource center,
the resources for students that are experiencing homelessness, those resources are available now. So if you are in need of something, let your counselors know. We've got stuff that we can help out with.
Right. And it doesn't have to be necessarily homeless.
That's true.
But students just who have a need. And so if you are listening and your child has some needs, let our counselors know. And if we can provide it here, we'll definitely get that for you. So that's really exciting news. And like I said, most districts don't have that opportunity.
You're pretty lucky.
Very lucky.
We have a real commitment to career and technical education. And our CTE program is taking a huge leap in that we're now part of the Willamette Career Academy.
Yeah.
And we were at the ground level of creating the Willamette Career Academy. We were partners at the table. And it is flourishing and doing so great. We have about 18 of our own students who are part of this. Now, the key piece to the Willamette Career Academy is it provides our students to go get career experience and training with industry. And they can potentially go right from there to a job, a well-paying job.
Awesome.
So
talk about hands-on experience.
Yeah. Not only do we have great programs here with our FFA and our car mechanics and all, we have our own programs, but we also send kids to Salem every day to get these other opportunities that they wouldn't normally have.
Yeah, especially in areas of computers and nursing and things like
mechanics.
that.
Yeah. I think it's great that they're getting that hands-on experience part, because so often you graduate high school and you don't know what you want. And sometimes something sounds so awesome. And then you get into it and you're like, oh my God, this is not for me.
Right.
We're giving them the chance to test it out before they graduate.
Yes. Don't know if you've seen our basketball court yet, but
Ooh, it's gorgeous.
Parents, if you haven't been to our high school basketball court, it is beautiful. State of the art.
Nice.
Looks so nice, you don't want to walk on it.
Right, just go in and admire it. But we are huge believers of pride here and school pride, and being able to really renovate not only our basketball court, but our libraries. And, I think I shared in another podcast last year in our elementary school, we checked out 10,000 books.
Yeah.
Right? 10,000. And when I got here 6 years ago, it was a storage shed. They weren't giving any books out. We went from 0 to 10,000. So, I mean, we in terms of facilities, we have cleaned up, we're painted, we're renovating, we're putting and investing our money into
books.
Improving our, we have new books. We're investing in our children because we believe in that pride.
And it's so great that we're still doing this and pushing it out, because right now, the libraries in the state of Oregon are having such a hard time with funding and cutbacks that it's nice to know that the students here at Jefferson will always have a library resource.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know we're about out of time here, but just to throw out a couple quick ones. We have free meals now for all of our students.
So great.
Isn't that great? So,
All of our students,
all of our
including
students.
high school, right?
Right.
Free breakfast, free lunch.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you have a high school student, they now can get free meal, free breakfast and lunch where they couldn't last year. So that is really exciting. We have a real K-12 vision and focus, so that we are planning and thinking about the end result. And we're trying to bring our different levels together to collaborate and talk about standards and how to get kids ready for the next level, so that we can make sure they're prepared in high school. That doesn't happen everywhere.
Right.
We have after school programs that we're getting off the ground.
Some really fun ones too. Like
Yeah.
Magic Club. You have to check that one out.
And I think that's a student run one.
Yeah.
One of
For
our
the
own
middle
students.
school.
And then we have a music program here and a really top-notch elementary full-time music teacher. In a lot of school districts, they have music teachers, but they rotate. They go from school to school and they spend like an hour or a couple of hours a day or whatever.
I didn't know that.
But they don't have their own teacher. And we have our very own teacher who's been here for years, and just really instilling the love of music in our students.
If you haven't checked out any of our recorded holiday concerts, then I highly suggest that you check those out. Those are
Right. And our music program extends into high school, but it really gets a robust start at the elementary. There are lots of programs to see, and it's really fun to watch the kids as they get a love of music. So we're looking at a whole rounded education here. We're looking at the whole child. We're looking at supporting their mental health needs. We're looking at giving them structure and the structure they need to be successful. We're looking at giving them the academic support they need. And we're talking about all students. And when we look at our data, we're looking at those who aren't making it and why not. We're having those kinds of conversations. And then we're changing the way we do things in order to help them succeed as well. So this is a dynamic little district, and it is Jefferson on the move.
Yeah. Come check us out.
With that is it for today. And thank you for listening to JPod. Join us next week. And until then, have a great week.
All right.
See you next week.
Bye.